Hi everyone and welcome to Book Boop. My name is Rachel and today I'm going to do a very belated video that probably doesn't really have a lot of validity right now at this point, but I'm going to talk about my 2021 stats, just kind of what types of books I read, how many pages, shortest book, longest book, that kind of thing, and also to reflect back on my 2021 goals to see if I actually met them. So I know we're already into February of 2022, so you all may not care about this information at this point, but you know what? I need content and I don't care, so I'm just gonna do it. I will say too, I miss filming next to my bookshelves upstairs in the different room. I have these beautiful bookshelves that I love and they look so cool and I would love to film in front of them, but it just never works out to where my daughter is, because that's like her main playroom too. So I'm always filming in my bedroom next to my book cart. So I'm sorry, it's always the same location and I can never seem to film in front of my actual bookshelves. But let's go ahead and jump in. So let's talk about some stats. So I know that Goodreads does some stats, and I do mainly use Goodreads as my tracking software for all my books, but I also use StoryGraph. If you haven't heard of it before, I absolutely adore it. If you really love statistics and you want to see more specific statistics, especially as the year progresses, I highly recommend StoryGraph. You can actually transfer your Goodreads information to StoryGraph, so you don't have to start from scratch of like adding all the books and all the information. It'll actually pull it over for you, and it's fantastic because it shows so many more detailed stats, which I love. So a lot of those stats I've actually pulled from StoryGraph. So I read 95 out of 100 books. I was not able to hit that 100 book goal, but I was close. I read 32,771 pages, which is pretty sweet. My shortest book that I read was The Tea Dragon Society at 72 pages. This super thin graphic novel. And then the longest book I read was Night Film at 640 pages. And that was a book I felt like was way too long and I didn't particularly love that much. But that was definitely my chonkiest book from 2021. My top 3 moods, so the type of style or feel of books, were mysterious, adventurous, and dark, which sounds about right because I love me some spooky books and I like mysterious and adventurous. So I mean, that pretty much hits the nail on the head of the type of moods that I usually go for in books. I had an equal split between fast-paced and medium-paced books. I am not a slow-paced book reader. I don't tend to like to read books that feel very slow-paced. So most of the time I try to go as fast-paced with books as possible. And so I had an even split with fast and medium. 62%, so a good chunk of the books that I read were from 300 to 499 pages, which is actually a little bit surprising for me because I really love short books. I'm not a huge fan of chunky books. My sweet spot is between, I would say, probably 250 to 350. That's kind of my sweet spot in there. When it starts to reach 500, I'm like, I don't want to. And then if it goes past that, I'm like, oh, good Lord, why is this book so long? So I love reading shorter books. And so I'm a little surprised it's actually a little bit longer than I expected with the kind of pages. My top 5 genres are fantasy, YA, horror, children's, and middle grade, which I think sounds like a hilarious mix-up because I've got horror and then right after that children's and middle grade. Which kind of makes sense in a way because I love spooky books in any particular age range. Especially love middle grade spooky ghost stories, love them. Anything that's got a paranormal vibe to it, I will just eat up. So that makes sense. I do read a lot of what's considered fantasy, but I don't read a whole lot of high fantasy, I would say. So usually when I hear the term fantasy, I think dense adult fantasy books, but that's definitely not the case for me. I do read a lot of YA. I've been delving more into adult, definitely, I would say, and not leaning into the younger genres as much, but I still really love them. I love YA and I love middle grade. My most read authors were Victoria Schwab and Neil Shusterman. So I've been trying to work my way through Victoria Schwab's books. I still am working through them because I really like her writing style, and I feel like a lot of her ideas are really original, and she definitely has a dark spin with her stories a lot. She loves morally gray characters, which I think is so fascinating. So I love reading that. And I read the Scythe Trilogy or Arc of Scythe Trilogy by Neil Shusterman, which is why that one's high. That's 3 books that I read of his, and I enjoyed it. It was a really interesting kind of like post-apocalyptic series. Not post-apocalyptic. What's the right word? it's supposed to be utopian, but it's like so utopian it's supposed to be, but then it's more like dark. And I don't know. It's a really interesting series if you haven't heard of it. My average rating was a 3.59, which sounds about right. I didn't have a lot of highly rated books in 2021. I handed out very few 5 stars. I think I'm a little bit more strict with my ratings and everything. So I was using a rating system called Cawpile. I used it for the majority of 2021. I used it for all of 2020, and then I used it most of 2021, and I got tired of using it. So Callpile is a spreadsheet that G from the channel Book Roast created, and it's a great way to be able to figure out what your rating is if you're having trouble kind of deciding, because it puts in a whole bunch of factors, like you rate based on character and plot and all these different things. And it really helped for a while, but then sometimes the rating it would give a book after I put those numbers in didn't match up with how I felt about the book. And I started to get frustrated because I felt like it just wasn't reflecting how I felt, even though it should have, but it just didn't. So I've stopped using the Callpile system and just kind of honestly going with my gut. And I'm still kind of hitting in that like middle of the road 3-star rating a lot of times. Books have to really wow me to get to a 5. Like I have to be blown away. It has to be like the best book ever, and I've loved everything about it for it to be a 5-star. So usually I'm in like the 3 to 4-star range. But yeah, that makes sense to have a 3.59, that it's a little bit lower, because I just didn't have that many books in 2021 that I really loved. All right, let's talk about the goals that I set for myself for 2021. I wanted to have monthly TBRs, so check on that. I did still continue to do monthly TBRs. I still am. I'm such a checklist person, and I love having a checklist of books to read each month. Even if I can't get to them all, even though it actually hurts my heart a little bit when I don't get to them all, I'm not able to check them all off. But I love having monthly TBRs, and I stuck with doing that in 2021. I wanted to read 100 books. Didn't make it. I got to 95. Hopefully no year is going to be like 2020 again. And that just, a lot of people hit some record-breaking amount of books that they read because we had extra time. A lot of us were quarantined and had more extra time on our hands. A lot of things being canceled. So I hit 100 books in 2020, never thinking I would ever hit that amount of books ever in my lifetime, and I did. And so I was blown away, like, oh my goodness, I can actually do this. And I'm like, 2021, I'm going to do it again. And I pushed and I tried and I didn't make it. So I definitely scaled back the amount of books I wanted to read in 2022 because it's just not plausible for me to do that again and to stress myself out about it. So didn't make it. I wanted to do more vlogging and try doing some B-roll. I did not do that. I did not do any vlogging really. I did a little bit. I think I did a few mini vlogs. I don't even remember if I did an actual vlog. I don't do them very often because my husband actually edits them for me whenever I do an actual vlog that is several clips and spans over several days. I don't even remember if I did any in 2020. If I did, I maybe did 1 or 2, but I kind of don't think I did. I didn't do very much vlogging, and that also definitely means I didn't do any B-roll because I wanted to try doing that, like making something more aesthetic. That didn't happen. And you know what? I don't feel as much of a push to do that now. I definitely want to do more vlogging. I want to do more mini vlogs where it's like this. It's just one shot because they're very easy to do and I enjoy the like relaxed chatting nature of them. Honestly, kind of like how this video is. But I don't have as much of a longing to try to make something aesthetic because that's not me. I love watching aesthetic videos. I'm blown away by the people that can create these beautiful vlogs with these wonderful B-roll aesthetic shots. They're amazing. I don't have the time or feel like I want to try to make the time to do that. So, which makes me sad because I would love to try to do it, but I feel like I'm putting too much of an expectation on myself doing that. So I probably won't be doing that. 2 videos a week doing mini vlogs. That did not happen either. I know I did some mini vlogs in 2021 and I've done 1 so far this year. My goal, what I always want to do is try to reach to where I do 2 videos a week. I do 1 like this and then I do 1 that's a mini vlog. Just a chatty video talking about how my reading's going and how my week's going and a chance to have more of just a relaxed environment to just hang out with you guys in a way. And It's hard. It's hard to make myself do it. I don't know why it's so hard. I keep telling myself even what day I'll do it on and what time of day I'll do it on if I just make myself do it. But I have a choice between filming a mini vlog or having that time to read. And usually the time to read outweighs the vlog because I don't have tons of time to read, and I try to take as much time as I can to read so I can get through the books I want to read. So a lot of times reading wins out over filming, to be perfectly honest. I wanted to do more buddy reads in 2021. That also did not happen. I want to get better at doing buddy reads. I've done a few before. I did some in 2020, and I haven't figured out a great system for buddy reads yet, and like how to just track with people on it, because most of the time, so I know some people will like really schedule it. They're like, okay, well this day we're going to read this many pages and then we'll talk about it. And I've never done a buddy read like that before. It's always been like, okay, we're both going to read this book at around the same time and we'll kind of chat about it a little bit. But there's not a lot of conversation that happens when I do it that way. And I've done it that way before, and there's not a whole lot of give and take with conversation. And I'd like for there to be more of that. Probably a lot of that comes if you do like a live show and like you actually sit down and take dedicated time to talk about a book. But I just want to get better at buddy reads, and I know buddy reads are a way to make more friends and to get more involved in the community. So I'd like to do more buddy reads. And that was a goal for 2021. It didn't happen. What a surprise. I feel like a lot of things in 2021 just didn't happen. Does anybody else feel like that? Like you're like, okay, 2020 was a dumpster fire. 2021's gonna be better. And then it wasn't that much better. I wanted to read more nonfiction. I did do that. So that is a plus. There's a check. There's finally a check. I feel like I failed almost every single one of these. But I did read more nonfiction. Part of that is because of my job. We have to create yearly goals and to kind of just for self-development and certain things to learn and grow upon within our jobs and also as a person. And I've been trying to put reading goals within those goals to push me to read nonfiction, because I don't read a whole lot of it and I'm starting to read more, and I really like reading it when I push myself to make the time. And if I put it on my goals at work and for my job I have to do it, then I'll do it. So I did the same thing again for this year for 2022. So I definitely have more nonfiction I will be learning and reading, and I'm excited about that. But yes, I did read more nonfiction. Finish series that I start. Yes, I would say yes, and also no. So let me show you a page in this is my 2022 reading journal, bullet journal I've got. So I've got a book series tracker here, and these are the book series I've started and I still need to finish or continue. So I've got a decent amount, but it's not that bad. I was keeping on top of it as much as I could in 2021. And I feel like there were several series that I finished. I had already started series that I started, and I tried to intentionally make sure I finished. So this could be a lot worse. I know a lot of times people will start a series and then just completely let go of it. There are some series that I wrote down on my list for 2021 that I started, and I decided, you know what, I don't want to read any more of those. I didn't really like it that much, so I'm not going to push myself to do it. So these are the ones that I think I honestly am interested in continuing, and I have this tracker to help remind me how many books I have left, and just to remind me easily in a one glance way to see what series I still need to finish. So I think I did pretty good with that. My last goal I had for 2021 was to reach 700 subs on my channel. I did not reach that. Now obviously that is a goal that I have no control over. I have no control over how many subs I get. I just don't. And that's okay. And I'm fine with it. I'm not cut up about the fact that I didn't reach 700 subscribers. I got close. I'm still close. It keeps going up and down just a teeny tiny bit and never reaching 700, which it's fine. It's not that big of a deal. I have this channel, so I have a place to talk about books, what I'm reading, and to meet really cool people just like you who are watching right now, and people that interact with me. And I love getting the comments, and I love getting to talk with you all and just to hear what you're reading and what you're loving and just getting to chat. So it's okay if I don't reach 700. Did I set a sub goal for 2022? Yes, I've set a goal for 1,000 subscribers. That to me is like the ultimate goal. That's like, I can't imagine having more than 1,000. It's hard to imagine having 1,000, but having more than 1,000 feels like unattainable. But I have no control of it, and it's fun to say, that's a goal. I'd like to see that. But I also understand I have no control of it, and it's okay if it doesn't happen, and I'm fine with that. So I didn't hit that goal either. So out of all the goals that I set for myself for 2021, I reached, I would say, 3 of them. So a lot of goals didn't happen, but you know what? That's all right. That's okay. Things happen. It's not always attainable. Years don't always go the way that we want them to, as we definitely now know. So again, I know this video is late in coming, talking about, most people have moved past 2021 now. They've talked about all the books they love, the books they hated. I haven't talked about the books I hated. Let me know down below if you like watching those videos. If you want to see me rant about books I really didn't like that I read last year, let me know. I will gladly do that video because I think it would be fun to film. But I also don't know if it's relevant anymore because a lot of people have moved past 2021 and they just want to get going on 2022 and they don't care about what happened last year at this point. So let me know down below if you'd like to see me rant about my least favorite books from last year. And I don't know, let me know, if you set goals for yourself for 2021, doesn't even have to be reading, any goals. Did you reach a lot of your goals, or were you like me and you were like, you look back and go, whoa, I did not hit most of those, and that's okay. Let me know down below. I'd be interested to hear if I'm not the only one that just didn't hit everything. It'd be good to know. I'd feel better. On this side of the video over here is my logo. If you click on that, you can subscribe to my channel, follow me on my book journey, help me get to the 700 I didn't reach last year. And this side of the video over here is a suggestion for another video if you feel like hearing me talk some more. But thank you so much for watching. You rock, and don't forget to keep reading. Bye.